Book number 1 is from National Geographic, The Guide to Medicinal Herbs, and it's one of the most practical and beautiful ways to start learning herbs. It covers over 100 healing plants from around the world, organized by body systems. This is really helpful because let's say you're struggling with digestive concerns. You can turn to page 140 and you'll receive a mini lesson on the digestive health and the digestive system, some of the history of humans using herbs to support digestive health, and then it covers 10 herbs for this body system. For each herb, it gives you pictures, a few, not all, of the therapeutic uses for the herb, safety precautions, and simple instructions on how to prepare it, along with a simple 1 to 3 ingredient kitchen recipe. I really like this format because it helps you as a beginner and an aspiring herbalist get started right away with the herbs. No overthinking it because you just have the right amount of information about an herb, even if it's one you're not familiar with, to start playing with it immediately. That's key because one thing I often hear is where do I even start? This book gives you that gentle on-ramp into herbalism without making you feel overwhelmed or buried in technical language. So whether you're a homeschooling parent, someone navigating a specific health condition, or just herbal curious, I made this list for you. I'm Selima Harleston Lust, clinical herbalist and co-founder of Iwilla Remedy, where I've now taught over 6,000 people how to use herbs skillfully to invigorate, restore, and nourish their bodies. I train and mentor aspiring herbalists in my program, Herbal Medicine for the Soul, and I also teach a semester-long class on African American herbalism at Spelman College. And what I love most is teaching you about how your body works, how your mental and emotional well-being affect you, and how to use herbs to truly care for your whole self. Book number 2 is The Healing Garden by Juliet Blanketspoor, and it's easily one of the most beautiful herbal books that I've come across. It's full of lush photography and thoughtful design, and it's incredibly practical too. This book focuses on growing medicinal herbs at home and walks you through how to design your garden, tend to the plants, and then turn them into remedies. It's very beginner friendly, but there's also plenty of in-depth information if you've been working with herbs for a while. The recipes are delightful, and for each plant, she spends a lot of time explaining how do you grow it, care for it, harvest it, along with the medicinal properties, uses, safety, and preparations. But what I love most about this book is the cultivation wisdom. I learned why our rosemary plant struggles in our yard from this book. So if you're someone who wants to feel connected to the entire process from seed to salve, this book is the perfect guide. One thing I've noticed a lot again and again in the comments is that people are confident with using herbs, but might feel lost when it comes to growing them. Juliet's detailed growing instructions and the way she connects plant care with herbal wisdom makes this book a perfect bridge. So I'd love to know, are you more interested in using herbs medicinally, growing them, maybe both? Let me know in the comments. I always enjoy seeing the different paths that folks take on their herbal journey. And let me give you a bonus tip here. So these first 2 books, I actually check out from the library from time to time. I don't have them in my personal library just yet, but they're coming. So many people ask me about book recommendations, and I find it's one of the harder questions to answer because herbalism is so vast. Some people want to grow, others want to be clinical herbalists, some just want recipes. So without knowing what your aspirations are in herbalism, I just tend to tell people, go to your local library, check out all of the books you can on herbs and herbalism, but don't stop there. When you get home, look up the same herb in each book. So for example, read what every author has to say about ginger. You likely already know ginger, so as you're reading each passage, you'll get a really good idea of what that herbalist likes to focus on in herbalism, and then you can decide if that's what you're interested in learning about too. Some authors will give recipes, others may go more into the history, while other herbalists might talk about the clinical trials that include ginger. So it really depends on the author's area of interest. Take advantage of your local library, both for physical books and ebooks. So many people in the herbal community have shared how hard it is to know which books to buy, and this method helps you figure out which authors align with your learning style before investing. And it shows you how many herbal perspectives you can be exposed to. Struggling with a health issue that just won't budge? You want a holistic path. You're even thinking about becoming an herbalist, but you need real guidance. Let's talk. Book a free call with me and we'll figure out your next right step, whether it's a private consultation or one of my signature programs like Herbal Medicine for the Soul. So if you are ready to feel better and live on purpose, click the link and schedule your free call today. Let's get you aligned and moving forward. And book number 3 is the Herbal Detox Plan by Zandria Williams. So what I love about this one is that it goes beyond just listing herbs. It gives you a full plan. So it connects herbs with diet, lifestyle, and explains how all of those things work together to support the body's natural detoxification processes, which is what this book focuses on. So you'll learn about how your body works, how the herbs fit into the bigger picture of your health. The explanations are clear, the structure is practical, and you come away with a better understanding of why certain herbs support specific systems and how diet and daily habits either help or hinder your process. A lot of people told me they felt stuck with herbal books that just list herbs maybe alphabetically. This one gives you a plan. It connects the dots between how the body works, how herbs actually support that function, something that beginners often struggle to figure out on their own. There's a lot of books on the market. Ones that focus on a particular body system or health goal are helpful. And this is one of the first herbal books that we purchased like back in 2010 when we were working on improving our skin health, and it really helped. I started working with the herb Blue Flag because of it. You may not need this specific book, but if you're struggling with a health issue, then a book that's a step-by-step guide to heal it holistically is great to have on your shelf. And of course, you don't just want to collect the books, you want to implement what they say. And then book number 4 is Naturally Healthy Babies and Children by Aviva Romm. So what makes this book especially valuable is who Aviva is. She began as an herbalist, a midwife, and later became a medical doctor. That layered background means she blends deep herbal knowledge with trusted clinical experience, which a lot of folks say they're specifically looking for. I really only like herbal books by doctors if they are also practicing herbalists and not just researchers. The book focuses on natural ways to support children's health using herbs, food, routines that actually make sense for daily life because she's also a parent. It covers colic and fever, sleep, digestion, immunity, so much more in a way that's calm, empowering, and really accessible. So I remember when Niles had croup when he was 2 years old, and while I knew what to do, when your child is sick and it's your first child, it's just a whole other level of anxiety. And so coming up with support for your own kids, that really tests your confidence as an herbalist. So the fact that I had the herbs at home that she was mentioning in her book was really affirming. And sometimes when parents share that when their kids get sick, we really lose our confidence in our herbal skills, even if we know what to do. So having a book like this is grounded in both clinical experience, lived experience can help restore that confidence. What's really important here, though, is the format of the book. I'm trying to encourage you to think more about your aspirations and your needs over just getting these specific books. This book works because it's built around the needs of a specific season in your life. So if you're parenting young kids, you're not just treating one-off symptoms, you're building an herbal knowledge that fits into your everyday life. So as you're pursuing the bookshelves, pick resources that support where you are right now, whether that's pregnancy, motherhood, perimenopause, grief, stressful seasons, or anything in between. Sometimes books can feel too general, so this is why this format really matters. Books that focus on a specific life stage, they're often easier to apply, and it feels more empowering in the moment when you need them. And then book number 5 is Alchemy of Herbs by Rosalie de la Forêt. She is such a delightful person and herbalist. I definitely encourage you to add her book to your shelf and check out my episode on her podcast. Rosalie's books will get you into your kitchen. Herbalism is experiential. You've got to get your hands in the plants, and the pictures and the herbal recipes in her book will really encourage you to do just that. One thing I hear a lot from beginners is that they feel stuck in research mode, trying to get everything right. Rosalie's approach gets you into action using what's already in your kitchen. So it's approaching while also introducing you to some of the more esoteric elements of herbalism, like herbal energetics, and she blends the clinical insight in a very natural way that's not overwhelming, especially if you're a beginner. Rosalie takes everyday kitchen herbs like cinnamon, ginger, garlic, chamomile, and shows you how to use them in ways that are both healing and delicious. So you don't need to hunt down exotic plants or invest in a massive apothecary. You can start with what's already in your spice drawer. You won't feel intimidated by recipes that call for rare herbs. This book proves that you don't need any of that to begin. Each herb is explained clearly, including how it works in the body, what kinds of symptoms it's best for, how to prepare it. There are over 60 recipes, from teas and syrups to meals. So you're not just learning theory, you're really connecting the dots in your life and in your daily practices. And then book number 6 is the Encyclopedia of Herbal Medicine by Andrew Chevalier. This one is a powerhouse reference guide, and I reach for it anytime I want to just double check an herb's use, dosage, or safety. It covers over 500 medicinal plants, and each one is laid out with photos, descriptions, traditional and modern uses, preparation methods, safety information for things like pregnancy or drug interactions that are known at the time of writing the book. That format makes it easy to quickly look up something, whether you're researching a new plant or just trying to remember how to best use one you already have. The visuals are gorgeous, incredibly helpful for plant identification too, especially when you're just learning to recognize different parts of the plant. And this is a really good one to keep nearby as your go-to encyclopedia, not something you necessarily read cover to cover, but one you'll return to often, especially if you're building your own home apothecary or want to get more confident with herbal safety and formulation. It's also a great antidote to all of the vague and unverified information out there. So if you're someone who's frustrated with getting conflicting advice online, this reference book helps ground your practice in trusted, time-tested information. Want a part 2? I'll cover my favorite intermediate to advanced and clinical books next if you're interested. Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.